Okay, good morning to you all. Uh, yeah, okay. I thought I'd start off just by talking a little bit about what I'm calling wisdom working in the mind. So this sounds possibly a bit grand, but it's really those moments where there's some sort of knowing that feels a little bit different to the ordinary mind. That knows things more sort of cognitively. This is a more sort of direct understanding, and they can be in all areas of our lives. And hopefully, these are becoming familiar to you, or are familiar to you through your practice. Those moments where just something is clearer, something is better understood about the nature of experience, the nature of the mind, the nature of what it is to be human. So I'm going to tell you a little story, which was, one time I was in Burma, quite a long time ago now. My last retreat was 10 years ago now. And there you have these big meditation interviews, they call them. You have them collectively. So there are probably about 25 of us sort of squeezed into this room. And then you each say something, and if you're lucky, your Tejaniya says something back that's helpful to your practice. And I was reporting in this session how I could see the mind reacting with aversion, with dosa, uh, quite strongly, and it happened every time I came into contact with a particular object. And I can't remember the details, but I suspect this object was a person, because it's usually a person, isn't it? There's usually some aspect of a person that gets that fiery reaction. So every time I saw them about the place, or even I thought about them, there'd be this irritation, this sort of rush of that kind of aversive energy. And yet I felt really clear in my mind that it was not about the person. And this was not sort of, if you like, 101 Dharma that we read about or learn about. It felt very clear experience. This is not, this dosa is in the mind. It's not about the person. And it felt very sort of visceral understanding of this, and important. So I was telling U Tejaniya about this, and then he asked me a question, which didn't happen very often, but he said, "How are you so sure that it's not the person, the object that's causing the dosa, the aversion? Because it arises every time you're in contact with them. So how do you know?" And it was a really good question, and it completely stumped me. I thought, I don't know how I know, but I know. I know I know what I know. But I couldn't describe how I knew. And yeah, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes that there is some sort of understanding, but perhaps we don't get that step further to think, well, how do I know this? We sort of maybe are so pleased that we know something, or there's been that sort of experience that's where it stops. Um, so with wisdom in these small moments, or sometimes larger moments, sometimes we don't get as far as recognizing that wisdom is working in the mind. Um, Sometimes we just don't recognize it. And U Tejaniya talks about this. This can be because at times we focus on awareness, we over focus on awareness. And in a way, it's not quite that we close the mind to more sort of clear seeing, but maybe there isn't quite the same sort of emphasis given to right view, or given to a Dharma perspective. And we need both to be able to see things more clearly. So sometimes we just don't recognize that wisdom's working in the mind. So that's something to look out for. But in this case, I did. I did recognize that yeah, there was some clear seeing happening at the time. Um, but I couldn't see more deeply into it. The wisdom was at a certain level, if you like. How did I know that it wasn't the person, the object that was the cause of this dosa arising in my mind? So later, after the interviews were over, and there were probably about sort of 20, 25 of us, sort of each speaking in turn. That took a while. But I went back out into the night and did some walking meditation and just tried to look back at what had been happening. Um, and another component of the experience kind of revealed itself in through that looking back, through that. It was a sort of reflection, but also just a feeling into what had been happening. And what I saw was that there had been certain ideas in the mind, certain wrong views, certain ideas about this other person, ideas about um, uh, a sense of me, if you like, a sense of self. And these wrong ideas contributed, or these were the cause of the aversion rising in the mind. Not the other person, but the ideas, partly about the other person and partly the ideas and views just about who I was, if you like. So all happening in here, nothing really happening out there. Um, and so I did see a bit more deeply what had been going on. And these ideas, these views, these were why every contact with the object inflamed that irritation, inflamed the dosa. So I'm telling you all this, maybe it's obvious, but yeah, part of wisdom practice is not just to have the insight, but to understand and identify the causes and conditions that lead to it. That's if you like, a deeper part of the understanding rather than just the experience of kind of knowing. Yeah, so yes, that investigation through observation rather than so much thinking about. Um, there we can identify wrong thinking. And in some ways, it's not even necessary to identify what those kinds of wrong thinking were, but just to know, oh, this is this, yeah. Oh, maybe I've said enough. Actually, it sort of is helpful to know the kinds of thinking that we can classify as wrong views. Okay, so I'll leave it there. Hopefully that just gives you a flavor of the ways that we can take further. We don't have to sort of, in a way, leave things at just see them at face value. Oh yeah, that was a moment of clear seeing. It's like, okay, and um, yeah, how do I know what else was happening? Right, okay, if you like to set yourselves up for sitting.